We interrupt this regularly scheduled season of fall for a preview of coming attractions, winter in Colorado, a sneak peek starring snow, 2 to 11 inches, and featuring a dude in Boulder who jogged out into a whiteout at Chautauqua this morning. Snow-laden lines shrugged and snapped under the weight of the storm. 54,000 people lost power for a good amount of time in Denver and Boulder. It's also lights out for your garden, unless you spent your whole weekend covering your tender vegetation, as Paula Hall did in Boulder. The government's Solar House Expo in Denver had to be put on ice. We went anyway, just to see if they worked in the snow. And as we hunker down for the first really cold night of the year, we remember nothing says Colorado like seats that say Colorado at the Richard in Commerce City. Green to white in a night. We'll return you to your regularly scheduled season after a quick check of what's coming our way tonight.
The storm that brought the season's first accumulating snowfall is out of here. Well, sorta. There's still some cloud cover out there, but skies are starting to clear. The snow has come to an end. 35 degrees was your high temperature today. We should be closer to 70. 24-hour snow reports include 2.5 inches officially at the airport, with 6 inches in Aurora, Lone Tree, about a foot in Genesee, Conifer, and Bailey. The number's still coming in. Storm winding down, winter weather and travel advisories canceling out, and now sets in the cold. Breeze warnings out for Denver. Temperatures tonight will go into the mid-20s for the urban corridor and much of northeastern Colorado. High pressure sets up tomorrow, and that means a sunny day, but we'll be off to a very cold start before temperatures start to rebound into the mid-50s after about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Clear skies across the entire state, and those of you out around Flagler, Yuma, and Ray, you're under a hard freeze warning. Denver, low 25. Tomorrow, sunshine. Not much of a warm-up, but an improvement over today. Sunshine and 70s back in the forecast the middle part of the week, and I have us dry for the next 8 days, although there's a little weak front coming in on Saturday. At this point, though, I think only isolated showers. So sit back and enjoy the view. And winter, just hold off for a little while, would you?
Kathy, thanks. 2 teenagers have been arrested in the Springs. Police say that they had a hit list of students, teachers, and staff at their middle school. This was Sabin Middle School. Police say that these 2 13-year-olds did have access to guns, and they were exchanging messages, planning an attack. They were arrested over the weekend. They're likely to face felony charges. Their names are not being released because of their ages. They're currently in the juvenile system. Just when it seems that there is some agreement over gun control, a hang-up over how to do it. Democrats and Republicans are really discussing doing what a Colorado congressman tried and failed to accomplish during the Obama administration, banning those bump stock devices that allowed the shooter in Las Vegas to fire a legal semi-automatic about as fast as an illegal machine gun. Politics guy Brandon Rittiman explains why this may run into technical trouble.
This all comes down to how the ATF decides something fits in to the laws we already have restricting machine guns. Sometimes they say, no, you can't sell that. In fact, it happened just last month with a product called the Auto Glove. As this YouTube video shows, it used an electric motor to pull the trigger rapidly and fire like a machine gun. In a letter detailing that, the ATF decided that the Auto Glove is a machine gun under federal law and told the manufacturer that their sample cannot be returned to you. But the ATF decided bump stocks are legal, even though they do this. And the reason why is technical. As this sales video shows, bump stocks use the force of the gun's recoil to push your finger into the trigger on rapid repeat. Under the ATF's interpretation of the law for the past 7 years, if the device uses your finger to pull the trigger, even if it's faster than you could do it naturally, it's legal, and they say they can't ban it. 9 News obtained a letter drafted by 3 House Republicans, all with military backgrounds, asking the ATF to think again. They plan to send it this week, asking the agency to reevaluate bump stocks and similar mechanisms, while Congress thinks about new laws to restrict the devices. They'll have at least one Democrat signing the letter with them, Ed Perlmutter of Colorado, who asked President Obama's ATF to ban bump stocks 4 years ago, only to be told no. The big unknown is, has the legal thinking at ATF changed at all since these killings in Las Vegas? For Next, I'm Brandon Rittiman.
The National Rifle Association has indicated a willingness for ATF restrictions on bump stocks, a rare acceptance of gun control by that organization. Although observers have noted that bump stocks are not particularly profitable for gun manufacturers. It is time once more for the familiar refrain about the train to the plane, the frequent subject of disdain. Is the A-line working today? Yeah, sort of. But let's be honest, this is a sort of working day for just about everyone in our area. And it was snow that delayed maintenance work this morning, leading to delays. And the power outages that impacted tens of thousands of Coloradans also hit our public transit systems, specifically the Mineral and downtown light rail stations. Buses had to run in place of the C and D lines until power was back up early in the afternoon. Someday for a solar power competition, huh? Though, in fairness, the reason why the federal government's solar decathlon in Denver was closed down today is because the ground all around the solar houses was basically a mud pit in this weather. Our Marshall Zellinger talked his way in just to see how you win a solar competition without any sun.
300 days of sunshine, huh? That's a good selling point for Colorado to host a solar decathlon. Just turns out this is closer to the other 65 days of the year.
Solar panels function similar to a battery, so any one cell that's covered can reduce the production of the entire panel.
That's DU graduate Christopher Lansinger standing in the snow next to the solar panels, powering the DU Cal Berkeley home in the U.S. Department of Energy Solar Decathlon.
Should I hit him?
That's also Christopher Lansinger in an unsanctioned snowball fight that is not part of the solar competition.
First thing, we got in and there was about 3 inches of snow on them. We came up here and brushed them up, and now we're up to almost 2 kilowatt hours. A sunny day, we usually get 5.5 kilowatts out of these guys.
This is the first time snow has impacted the competition. The only other cities to host the solar decathlon are Washington, D.C., where it was partly sunny and 85 today, and Irvine, California, where it was 81 and all sun.
It doesn't necessarily matter that it's snowing, it's more of how much light is getting to those panels, how much energy from the sun is getting to those panels.
Brenton took us through the nifty graphs that show how the DU Cal Berkeley home is brushing off the competition by brushing off the snow.
Everyone pretty much has that indicative downward curve here from last night's cold temperatures.
If you look behind my back, you can see a bunch of other houses, none of whom have cleaned off their solar panels. Those A-frames on the Netherlands house, those are also solar panels. You see Davis down there, you can see the solar panels on top and the ladder they were using to go ahead and clean them off. So because we can stand on our roof and we have a roof deck, we really have an advantage today.
More impressive than a solar competition without solar, what Brenton's got going on upstairs, #jealousy. The DU Berkeley team is in second place to the Swiss, who should know a thing or two about solar homes and snow. So far, 3 out of 10 criteria have been judged, and Kyle, we're in the wrong business because the winner of this competition, $300,000.
Hey, that's pretty solid. When I saw that email come out last night, I'm thinking they must have just been like, oh, do we have to send this? We do. Canceled due to snow. But thank you for going out and explaining it. I appreciate that.
No problem.
And earlier today, he goes, why does that guy get so much hair? So much hair.
Just send a little my way.
Hey, listen, you were walking around in a hat today, and you were warmer than the rest of us, all right? So count your blessings. Colorado Mills is reporting some progress on its plan to open as much of that hail-wrecked property as possible by Black Friday. But the mall owners didn't want us showing you what it looks like inside. Not yet, they said. We're not quite ready for tours. We'll keep being persistent. Hey, you should be too if you're looking for work these days. Colorado Mills has open jobs, full-time, part-time, temporary work. All of it's posted on the mall's website. This next story isn't about a police officer in trouble or some teacher who got caught cheating or a nurse stealing drugs. This next story is about a public servant doing the right thing. Like 99% of them do every single day and never make the news. They are the good ones. And they're almost all good ones. 3 Aspen police officers did a kind thing for a man that they know all too well. A man who was arrested recently on his birthday. They brought him a cake. Took it to the jail. The guy's somewhat of a frequent flyer. He's been arrested 12 times in the past year. Police say he's been struggling with homelessness and an alcohol addiction. The officers, Jeremy Johnson and Amy McHale, and their sergeant, Rick Magnuson, decided they'd go buy a chocolate cake and deliver it to the guy in jail so that he would not be alone and forgotten on his birthday. It was a jail deputy who found out about this and sent an email to the department after witnessing that wonderful act of kindness. All this was going to be done in private, never would have made the news if it wasn't for that deputy who said, that's too good not to be shared. I know that it snowed today, but to the person who was carrying skis on the light rail train this morning, slow your roll. We'll visit with a group of people who have seen many snows, and they want us to all calm down a little bit. And then a recommendation to explore Von Miller's body. Don't worry, he's cool with it. The most Colorado thing we saw today are all the Coloradans who know a snowy fall day is just how this state rolls. Though I'm not sure what to make of the person carrying skis on the train this morning. Our boss Linda spotted this bold move this morning. A hopeful skier headed from Centennial to Denver. And from there, who knows? I'm confident if this person was skiing around the streets of town, somebody would have sent next a photo. Your typical TV news cliche is to go out on the first snow of the year and show you all the kids playing and having a great time. Nobody ever shows love for the people who've seen dozens of first snows.
Windows provide views, gives you something to look out, appreciate.
What do you see when you look out the window?
Snow. You mean the snow?
Snow.
What do you see when you look out the window?
I'm sorry?
What do you see when you look out the window?
Today? Snow.
Well, I was born and raised here, so it's always snowed.
I love the first snow, and I see this beautiful snowfall. I love it. It's beautiful, especially because I don't have to go out in it, and I don't have to drive in it.
Oh, I kind of like to see the colors.
I like the change of seasons, and it's pretty, and I like the challenge. Not falling.
Well, I grew up in South Dakota, so we had a lot of snow quite early. Oh, sometimes it was up to the rooftop and couldn't see out the window.
It makes me think of skiing.
Excited for the skiers.
How much I loved it, and those days are gone forever, but that's okay.
And the flakes are it's like a Christmas card.
No big surprise. You'll forget about it in a week or a couple of days even. The sun comes out again.
Some frank talk right there. What do you see? Snow? It's going away in a couple of days. Everybody's going to be fine. Those were our friends at Brookdale Senior Living in Denver talking with photojournalist Chris Hansen. May I make a recommendation and point you towards something, anything that is not ours but is worth your time? Today our recommendation is Von Miller's body. Specifically the tattoos that cover it. The Broncos did this really cool video with their face of the franchise where he talks about the first tattoo he ever got with his mom and the others that followed, including the one that means the most. Von says his most meaningful tattoo is on his quad, Super Bowl 50 MVP. He says that Super Bowl changed his life. If you would like to learn more about the stories that Von Miller has written on his body and even the tattoo he thinks he might get next, there's a link to that video on our Facebook page. We have some perspective from a next viewer about how she has lived so much of her life in a different way from most of us. And a family's joy is shared at the Great American Beer Festival. Parents' adorable reaction to their son's medal win and what happened next. Your feedback guides our discussions each day on which stories to feature here, and a number of you have said that you appreciate that Next is a place where people with different views of life can be heard in their own words. Anna Aranda of Denver says her view of the world forever changed 14 years ago when she fell asleep at the wheel and woke up with a serious spinal cord injury.
The date was May 11th, 2003, is when life changed drastically. I struggled to wrap my head around like this is going to be life from now on and not really wanting to do it. I was diagnosed with T3 burst fracture of my spinal cord, which basically means your upper chest and below, you lose feeling. I don't have any voluntary movement. When I was 19 years old, I was in a car accident with my best friend, which resulted in her death and me suffering a spinal cord injury, which ultimately left me with having the use of a wheelchair. We had worked a full shift of work and then decided to go out, so we were a bit fatigued, and on our way home, about 17 miles from home, it had ruled that I had fallen asleep at the wheel, and so did my passenger as we were off the road for quite some time and hit a mile marker sign. Either I woke up and tried to get back on the road and we overcorrected. But learning that my best friend had passed was very difficult, as I couldn't make the services or anything like that due to still being in the hospital. So I think that it was difficult to go through and still affects me to this day. My ultimate goal was I wanted to be a paramedic. I always had a drive to want to help people, keep with a job that was going to be always exciting and never the same thing over and over. My dream and goal now is to help out and reach out to others who have unfortunately sustained a similar injury. There's so many things you still can do. It just might need to be adapted, but it's possible. And to help them see the light at the end of that dark tunnel.
Anna is working weekly to connect with people who also use wheelchairs through the Craig Hospital Peers program and the That's How I Roll Foundation, so she can share her path forward from a spinal cord injury. We are back with the best moment from this weekend's Great American Beer Festival, even better when we see it through the eyes of some very proud parents. Next. Colorado breweries' 38 medals at the Great American Beer Festival over the weekend were second only to the state of California. But I would like to highlight a GABF first. Libby Brewing out of Longmont won silver for their Moon Door Dunkel. That's no surprise. It's delicious. I've tried it. The surprise came as the Wibby team went on stage for the medal. The typically fast-paced medal ceremony saw a showstopper as the brewery's co-founder, Ryan Wibby, that's him in the black shirt up front, drops to a knee and proposes to his girlfriend, Robin. The shock look on the right, that's Ted. Look at that's my favorite, almost my favorite. If not for the video taken by Ryan's parents who are watching the medical ceremony online from home. Listen in.
Way to go, Ryan! Way to go, Ryan! Woo! Way to go, Ryan! Woo!
Goes to Spectator, On Tour Brewing Company, Chicago,
and now the parents
Illinois.
get shocked.
Yeah, way to go, Wibby Brewing!
Oh, look.
He just proposed! Oh, my God! He's proposing to her!
That's just the best. Some very proud parents there. For everybody who wishes I'd read some positive feedback, Cheryl says, I embrace the first snow, love all our snows. My husband and I are natives and believe there is not a better place to live. Agreed, Cheryl. See you next time.